Most men lose the woman they desire by doing exactly what feels natural in the moment of rejection. They chase, they explain, they beg for another chance. They flood her phone with messages, trying to convince her of their worth through words and desperation. This is the path of the weak man, and it repels feminine energy like nothing else can. But there exists an ancient way, a path walked by emperors and philosophers, that turns the entire dynamic on its head. The Stoics understood something profound about human nature. The moment you stop chasing, you become worth chasing. The moment you release your grip on outcome, you gain true power. What I'm about to share with you isn't manipulation or games. It's the cultivation of genuine masculine strength that naturally draws back what was lost. The first principle that will transform everything is the power of strategic silence. When she pulls away, when she stops responding, when she chooses someone else, your instinct screams at you to fill that void with words. Don't. Silence is not emptiness. It's presence without desperation. It's the quiet confidence of a man who knows his worth, doesn't require constant validation from others. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire not through constant speeches, but through measured action and thoughtful restraint. Your silence becomes a mirror that forces her to confront what she's walking away from. While other men bombard her with attention, your absence creates a vacuum that her mind cannot ignore. She begins to wonder what you're thinking, what you're doing, why you're not fighting for her like the others. This wondering becomes longing, and longing becomes regret. The second transformation comes from completely releasing attachment to outcome. This doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care more about your own path than about controlling hers. Epictetus taught that we suffer not from events themselves, but from our judgments about those events. The moment you accept that her choice to leave is neither good nor bad, but simply what is, you free yourself from the prison of outcome dependency. This inner freedom radiates outward like an invisible force field. She senses that you are no longer emotionally enslaved by her decision, and paradoxically, this makes you more attractive than any desperate pursuit ever could. You become like water, flowing around obstacles rather than crashing against them, finding your way through strength rather than force. Becoming truly unbothered and unreactive requires deep inner work that most men never attempt. When she tests you with cold responses, when she flaunts her new situation, when she tries to provoke jealousy or anger, you respond with the emotional steadiness of stone. This isn't suppression or pretending. It's genuine indifference, born from understanding that her actions reflect her inner state, not your worth. Seneca wrote extensively about how external events cannot disturb the man who has mastered his inner citadel. Your unshakable composure in the face of her emotional manipulation demonstrates a level of masculine maturity that stands in stark contrast to the reactive boys she's used to dealing with. She realizes she cannot move you, cannot control you, cannot predict you, and this uncertainty becomes magnetic. The fourth pillar is living with unwavering purpose and discipline. While she's out seeking validation and distraction, you're building something meaningful. You wake before dawn, train your body, advance your career, pursue your passions with monastic dedication. This isn't about showing off or making her jealous. It's about becoming so absorbed in your own growth that her presence or absence becomes irrelevant to your daily rhythm. Purpose-driven men are rare in a world full of aimless reactivity. She begins to notice that while everyone else revolves around her drama, you orbit around something greater. Your discipline becomes a silent accusation against her own lack of direction, and she starts to question whether she made a mistake in leaving someone so clearly on an upward trajectory. True emotional indifference is perhaps the most difficult but most powerful principle. This means her happiness doesn't make you happy, and her pain doesn't disturb your peace. You've achieved what the Stoics called apatheia, not apathy, but freedom from being emotionally jerked around by external circumstances. When she's happy with someone else, you feel nothing. When she's struggling, you feel compassion, but not the compulsion to rescue. This emotional independence is terrifying to women who are used to men being emotionally dependent on their moods and choices. She realizes that she no longer has the power to make you dance to her emotional rhythms, and this makes her want to reclaim that power by returning to your orbit. Strategic absence becomes your most potent weapon, but only when deployed from genuine detachment rather than calculated manipulation. You're not hiding from her. You're simply living a full life that doesn't revolve around her existence. You're not at the places she expects, not in her social media comments, not asking mutual friends about her well-being. This absence creates a void in her world that she didn't expect. She's used to men maintaining some thread of connection, some hope of eventual reconciliation. Your complete withdrawal from her sphere forces her to confront the finality of loss. The fear of permanent absence often motivates action more powerfully than the promise of future presence. Quiet power radiates from men who have nothing to prove and nothing to hide. You speak less, but with greater weight. You move through the world with calm confidence rather than aggressive assertion. You don't need to announce your accomplishments or defend your choices. This understated strength stands in sharp contrast to the loud insecurity of most men she encounters. Marcus Aurelius commanded legions not through shouting, but through the quiet authority of absolute self-possession. When she observes this quality in you, this sense that you know something the rest of the world doesn't, it creates a gravitational pull that's almost impossible to resist. The refusal to explain yourself or justify your actions demonstrates a level of self-respect that becomes increasingly attractive as she encounters men who constantly seek her approval. You don't explain why you're not pursuing her. You don't defend your choices or timeline. You don't justify your new lifestyle or priorities. This isn't rudeness. It's the natural behavior of a man who answers only to his own conscience and higher purpose. Your unwillingness to engage in the exhausting dance of explanation and justification shows her that you operate from a different paradigm entirely. One where your actions speak louder than your words ever could. Mastering your physical and mental routine creates an unshakable foundation that supports all other principles. Your body becomes a temple of discipline, your mind a fortress of clarity. You rise early, train hard, eat purposefully, rest completely. You read philosophy, practice meditation, engage in meaningful work. This routine becomes your anchor in the storm of emotional chaos that surrounds breakups and relationship drama. She sees glimpses of this disciplined life through mutual connections or social media, and it stands in stark contrast to the reactive, chaotic lifestyle of emotional dependency she's used to from men. Your routine demonstrates that you've found something more reliable than her affection to structure your existence around. The final transformation is understanding that you're not trying to earn her respect, or anyone else's. You're living in a way that naturally commands it. Respect isn't given to those who ask for it, but to those who embody principles worth respecting. You're not performing masculinity for an audience. You're embodying it as a natural expression of your inner development. This authenticity cannot be faked or forced, and it creates a magnetic field that draws people toward you without effort or strategy. She begins to see that while she was playing relationship games, you were becoming a man worth playing games to get back. This entire journey isn't about making her crawl back to you, though she very well might. It's about becoming the kind of man who no longer needs her to crawl back, because you've discovered something far more valuable than her validation: your own unshakable sense of self-worth. When you reach this point, something paradoxical happens. The very independence that made you stop caring whether she returns is exactly what makes her want to return. But by then, you'll have to decide whether the woman who left the man you were becoming is worthy of the man you've become. That decision will be yours alone, made from a place of strength rather than need, choice rather than desperation. And that, more than anything else, is what true power looks like.